I think nihilism is one of the most like misrepresented things ever anymore. And what do I mean by that is basically everybody has this idea that if you're nihilistic, you don't give a shit about anything. But the reality of nihilism is you're kind of sitting there and trying to more say is you've taken the realization that nothing actually matters, nothing has value unless if a human attributes value to it and then suddenly it has value. Like, for example, do you care about, I don't know, the space up in space? Are you going to put any value on the space up in space yet? No, because for one, you can't get there. So, is the space up in space have any value? As of right now, no. Maybe you can probably attribute value to it in the sense of the amount of land that could be there. But once again, it has still no value because there's nothing there. You can't do anything with it. And what I'm basically trying to sit here and kind of say is what the idea, and then a lot of people sit there and, okay, what I'm trying to sit here and say is, I think a lot of people misrepresent it into this idea that you don't think life matters at all and that you don't care about anything or anyone or any of that. And that's what a lot of people like misrepresent it as. At least whenever I see it on TikTok, a lot of people like are in the comment section dogging on people like, well, why do you make TikToks? Why does it matter and stuff? The person's not sitting there and being like, nothing matters, which I mean, obviously nothing really does matter. It just what they're trying to sit here and say is nothing matters if humans don't attribute value to it. I mean, for example, me taking a shit has no value because nobody else is attributing value to my shit. Now, if you go back in the 1600s to, I think Eco or whatever in Japan, dude, one of the cleanest cities out there because people attributed value to those people's actual shit. That was actual shit people were attributing value to. And once again, technically has no value anymore, but back in the day did. So that's like what I'm trying to point out is, and everything, I guess, in this video, is more of the idea that a lot of people really want to misrepresent nihilism as this idea of, the universe, like everything has no meaning. I don't care about anything. I don't care about my life. I don't care about anything. No. I think I would have to sit here and say I'm more of a nihilistic person, but I'm more of an extremist nihilism and everything. I think what people are trying to sit here and say as a nihilistic person is that what value does it have if nobody thinks it's valuable? It has no value. Like, even if like one person thinks it's valuable, that has value. It has some type of value. But if nobody has value for it, it doesn't have any value. It doesn't matter. And like, I don't know how to put this in a better way or whatever. Okay, let me give you an example here. Okay, if you had infinite food, infinite water, infinite everything, you had everything you've ever wanted in life. You will live forever. You can experience everything you would ever want to experience in your whole life at the click of a button or a click of like a snap of your finger. Everything that you've ever wanted to experience, you can go do it instantly, right? You have infinite amount of time to do it. There's no risk, no chance of failure, nothing, okay? Does it have any meaning? Would you attribute any value to it? I mean, if you can't, like, for example, go out hunting in like a enclosed area. What's the fucking fun in it? You're not actually hunting. You're more guaranteeing success, and you're more just brutalizing an animal by shooting an animal in a closed area. And I know, like, that's, I think, illegal down in the United States, but I know it's legal in some other countries, and it's like really fucked up and everything. And I probably should make a video about that one day. I might turn this video into one of those types of videos. But what I'm trying to say here, basically, to say is, I think a lot of people misrepresent nihilism. Nihilism is the idea that nothing actually truly does matter and that the universe has no value at all unless you attribute value to it or somebody else does. Like, you know, for example, my fucking belly button hair has no value, but, you know, a gold bar does, mainly because somebody attributes value to that gold bar. maybe not you. You might not see the value in the gold, but it has some type of value, mainly because humans do attribute value to gold. Personally, why do we? I don't really know. Probably because it was just a shiny rock back in the day, and humans with our caveman brain was like, "Ooh, shiny rock." But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope you guys honestly at least got some type of knowledge on nihilism. Hopefully you guys at least change your opinion a little bit on this. I hope you guys don't see it in such a bad light. It's not such a bad light thing. It's just more taking the actual realization of that actually how the universe is, and the idea that nothing really does matter. It just doesn't. Humans attribute value to things, and that's the only time it does matter. And whenever humans stop existing, if there's no intelligent creatures, nothing will matter. And I fooled you guys. Because guess what? That was the end of the first part. And I didn't realize I was going to be actually making a second part to this. And now I learned a bit more about nihilism. So, we're back. It's probably about 2 hours later. You can't tell. We're just making this video again. Basically. Not really again, but it's this kind of the second part of it. I learned about moral nihilism and don't even know how to say that word, nihilism. We'll try to attempt that whenever we get to that point. But basically, like, moral nihilism is that there's like no objective wrong or right. I mean, yeah, technically, but there is also like more of like a moral, I guess, ingrained into your heart. I guess I don't know how to like really sit here and say this. I think the whole thing behind it is that for how society was built and everything, you can't really prove it anymore just because so much time has passed. But I think with how like just humans and society has went and everything, I think there was more of an ingrained morality put in your heart. Where if that was natural in humans or not, I don't know. But I think the ones that didn't really have it were more likely just to kind of get killed off and stuff pretty fast. Mainly because, for one, if you're a little, 12-year-old back in the day, like back in, let's go back with Roman times, you stab a guy in like the leg or whatever, you're going to get probably fucking crucified. I'm just being honest with you guys and everything. A lot of countries back in the day didn't play with that type of stuff. But yeah, I think moral nihilism is something that might have existed in humans at one point, but I think the majority of humans are born with morality and just this idea of what is right and wrong. I don't think everything is like definite right and wrong, but you definitely can definitely tell, like stealing, killing, stuff like that. You should be able to tell that's wrong or right, and if you can't, well, shit, you just also might just be dumb as fuck. No offense or nothing. The idea behind, like, I think morality is more sit there and think about it like this. Would you ever want that to happen to you? If the answer is no, don't do it. But if the answer is yes, go for it, man. Well, don't actually, no, don't. But now we are kind of more going into epistemological nihilism, which is knowledge itself cannot be truly known. And what does that exactly mean? I think what what that idea here is the idea that, have you really ever tested how fast an apple falls to the ground, or like what the vertical velocity of an apple is? Have you ever, sat there and actually tested, is radiation truly deadly? Have you ever ate rat poison to figure out whether it was truly poison? I think that's like really what they're saying or trying to say. The whole thing behind it though is like, just because you've never done it doesn't mean someone hasn't done it and didn't die. No, it's no like offense to you, like that point there or nothing into nihilism. I more think of nihilism in the more of what's it called, existential nihilism, which I don't believe in these other two nihilisms. I'm more of an existential nihilist. I don't think like life has like an actual built-in purpose to it besides like to breed and reproduce and stuff. Nothing really else. But I think what this is trying to kind of point out is you never really tested a lot of the stuff in your life, so how do you really know if it's true or not? Which is kind of a dumbass point. No offense to the person that said this and everything, but I don't need to test whether fire burns me if I watch someone catch on fire because they stuck their hand in fire. Just saying you're saying everything. I get the idea that everything could be false, which I mean is more true for like history and stuff, certain things like that, because that stuff could actually really just be a lie and everything, and we wouldn't really know it because for one, we don't. There's no like thing that we could sit here and do and be like that's definite proof of it. It's just not possible. So yeah, I mean that's a point in some subjects, but in a lot of subjects, not really good point, such as science and stuff. I mean, obviously, maybe some of it you could use it as, but for the majority of the time, you're kind of seeing like denying basic science, and that's really where fucking flat Earth comes from. Is this idea of that questioning science that you can't, that you never test it. And like, no offense or nothing. Like, some parts of science are really weird, like the observer of thing. Like, where if like something is observing a photon, it will act one way. If nothing is, it will act a different way. Really weird. I have to sit here and say, I don't know. Probably won't ever test it, but would it be past our universe to honestly be weird? No. So why would I sit there and be like, that's false? And also, it doesn't really affect me whether it's true or false either. It doesn't matter. So I don't know like why we're trying to point that out in nihilism. I think it's more of a big deal for simple things you need to know, but not these complex ass shit.